Hi, welcome back. We're here, and I'm Katie O'Neill.
I'm Sarah Dirlam.
I'm a PTA here at the PTOSI Minneapolis location, and Sarah is a physical therapist. So she is going to demonstrate the next level up. We made a video with the basic levels of certain exercises that we like and prescribe a lot, and so now we're going to show you the kind of a progression that you could do. There's lots of progressions, but we're just going to show you some of our favorites. And we're making this video on a snow day. It's currently hailing outside, so if you hear that in the background, that's what's happening. That's why there's no patients here. So that's the explanation for that. So, all right, so in the previous video, we did TA bracing and then TA marching. And so I'm gonna just have her do 1 or 2 reps of the marching. You're gonna exhale, find your core, belly button up under the ribs, and then lift 1 foot off the ground and back down, other side. Stable pelvis, and the progression to this is going to be to lift, but then hold the first leg there, bring the second leg up, keeping the pelvis still, lowering down the first leg, and then the second leg. Good. So, big things to watch for here is that your low back might want to come up off the floor, or your low back might start working. If that happens, make sure you're reconnected and really connecting with your core. Ribs are down, belly button's pulled up under the ribs. And if that's still not enough, you can always bring your knees a little bit closer in towards your shoulders to bring the weight a little bit more centered this side of your body so that it's not as hard to control. Good. So the further from your body that you're tapping, the harder it's going to be, the more workload is happening on your core muscles. So I have people start out close by, work out to as far as you can go for a couple of reps, and then come back in so that you can keep going with your endurance. The goal I often set for people for this one, once they've done TA marches, is to be able to do this for 2 minutes is a good standard for knowing that your core is nice and stable and has a good amount of endurance for other activities that are functional. So really stay connected in through here, belly button pulled in, nice soft neck, shoulders back and down. Good. And then go ahead and lower down each leg one at a time. Perfect. So then we're going to go to our bridge. So the progression from the bridge, as we talked about before, you're going to pull the belly button up under the ribs and roll the hips up 1 vertebrae at a time, staying soft through the back. So even if you're not fully extended yet, you're still working up to that. You can still try this exercise as long as your PT is okay with it, your doctor's okay with it. But you might be still working on getting full hip extension as you do the progression. So sorry, I'll let you take a little break, go back down. And then come back up. And so what you're gonna do is just like with the marching before, you're gonna do the marching extended up in the air like this. You're gonna lift 1 leg up and back down, other side up and back down. So now once again, you're gonna be watching for that lumbar extension, that your low back is staying nice and curled under, belly button's pulled in. That looks great. Bringing your hands to your hip bones is sometimes a really helpful thing to see, are my hips staying stable or are they wobbling side to side? If they're wobbling, that means there's some shear going on at the spine and you don't want to have your low back working or moving during this exercise. It's a stability exercise. So 1 cue, can you do a couple more? You're doing okay? Mm-hmm. Shoulders stay down. Good. So is as you're lifting the opposite leg, so she's gonna lift her right leg, the left one is working like crazy. That glute should be nice and strong. And then she's gonna switch back down, activate her right glute super strong as she lifts the left one. And then switch back down. Good, so you're plugging that foot down into the floor before you lift the free leg. If you don't do that plugging into the floor, your hips are gonna be sloppy and you're gonna lose it. And you might have the strength to do it. It's just not, you just weren't taking the time to set it up right. You did great, that looked awesome. Okay. So then let's go to the side. And so in the last video we did leg lifts with a straight leg. Now we're going to do same setup. Go ahead and straighten the top leg. And she's gonna do the same core. Belly button is pulled up and under. There's this slight space under her side. Bring your ribs down just a little bit, just so it's not quite so high up. Good, it should just be right at your waistline. You don't have to bring it way up. And then you're gonna lift the top leg up to the level of the hip, so not quite as high. And then you're gonna start reaching back and then up and forward into a circle. And now these are, again, something that's super customizable for you. Make the size as big as you can do while maintaining a stable pelvis, so your back is not arching and flexing. Yep, so that's not good. And your hip, again, is not shrugging up towards your shoulder. So you want to keep it long this direction, like someone's pulling on your ankle, even as you're circling around. So you should feel this in the side of the hip and in the butt, primarily. Nowhere else except maybe your core. I mean, that's great. Your thigh might be working a little bit down the side of your leg, and then, yep, you can switch back and do the other direction. You might find one way is harder than the other. The goal is to use your abs to stabilize your hips while that hip muscle is working to move the leg. Shoulders can be down and back, supporting you for balance. Good. And the other thing, go ahead and switch to the other side. The other thing I want to emphasize is that circle can be tiny. It can be the size of a baseball, or it can be the size of a dinner plate, or it can be the size of a beach ball. It's really based on what your hip mobility and strength and core stability. There's a lot of variables that go into that and how big your circles are going to be. Good. So stay connected in your core. Shoulders are down and back. Good. Very nice. So you should be able to really feel it coming from your hip. If you're feeling it in your back or in like the front of your hip, neither of those are the places we want to work, but they are often places that compensate for this muscle when this muscle is underdeveloped. So if you're having a hard time finding it, pause on this exercise and then talk to your PT about what you can do to access your glute need better. Good. Perfect. Then come up on your hands and knees. So the last progression we're going to show you is for that hands and knees exercise when she was lifting just one hand and then the other hand. Now she's going to do some leg lifts. And so this is a little bit harder. It's a little bit longer lever arm going out that she has to control, and it's her, if she's working core strength, it's the leg, which is a little bit closer to that low belly than her shoulders. So she's going to stay strong in her shoulders, pushing the floor away. Shoulders blades spread apart, lifting up through your upper back. Good. Tuck your chin towards your throat. Perfect. Belly button comes up and under like you're giving your spine a hug. It wraps in towards the center. Toes push down into the floor, knees push down into the floor, hands push down into the floor as you're set up. Then you're going to keep that core connected as you extend one leg straight back and squeezing the butt to lift that leg without letting your back drop down. Lower back down, and then she's going to do one wrong. Oh yeah, so that's not what you want. Either rotating sideways, dropping down, or arching your low back. So you want to stay tabletop straight. It's not to say, go ahead and switch to the other side. It's not to say that when you're doing this, you're doing in yoga, there's other ways of being in this position with other goals. So I'm not saying it's wrong or you're going to hurt yourself to do it differently. Stay strong up here. Good. Oop, push through here a little more. There you go. But for this particular exercise, you want to keep everything totally as straight as possible, as stable as possible. No hips shifting side to side. Nice strong glutes. Nice strong core. I'm going to show them one medium, so between the hand lift, usually for most people, and the leg lift completely back. If you're having a hard time not shifting, one step down progression of this is to extend the leg but keep the toe on the floor the whole time. So you're doing a toe drag, belly button in, and then you can either stay here or you can lift the leg from here and just isolate what that hip extension looks like from there and then coming back in. That's often a nice little step up to doing the full leg lift. Good. Toes down and then lift up and then lower down and then come back in. And you can see she might be a little bit tired in her shoulders. You can see that's kind of dropping down a little bit, which is fine. She's been working hard. She's been doing a lot of work today. So good job, Sarah.
Thanks.
So yeah, we hope you enjoyed watching those progressions and hope that you find them helpful.
Thanks so much.